Hi there, my name's Aaron Short and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm talking about the Tascam Portacapture X8 field recorder. I've had the X8 for about 6 months now and I've had a chance to really test it, and it's also proven to be a key piece of my YouTube and music workflow now. So I definitely want to make a video to tell you about it. There's so many features in here that I won't cover them all today, but I'll tell you about the main features that I use for my YouTube channel and my music. So this is it right here, and I'd wanted something like this for a while because I go out and record a lot, and you probably know that when you use your iPhone, it's decent, but it's not the same as having a dedicated recorder. And also with a dedicated field recorder like this, you can put it near the subject while you walk away and film with your phone, and the sound will remain constant and close to the source, which is really useful. But I had no idea just what a difference this would make. And there's so many other features in here that are really useful as well. The absolute killer feature in this that I am just blown away by and could be its own video in itself is the 32-bit float recording. I had no idea what this was until I got this device, although it's been around for a while. It's not exclusive to this device, and more devices are now getting this feature. But basically, as an example, I was at a trade show last year and I used some audio recorders to make some interviews. And the audio is horribly distorted because you tend to set your levels and then the subject will talk louder once they get into the actual interview. So you can kind of save it, but once audio gets distorted digitally, it sounds horrible. I'll give you an example of this. I'll use my iPhone, which doesn't have 32-bit float, and you'll hear how it clips the sound and sounds really bad. Okay, so that's digital distortion. It's very hard to save from that. And, analog distortion can be nice, but digital distortion is rarely nice. So this recorder will never suffer from that because it records at such a high resolution and fidelity that even if the audio clips, you can simply just bring the level down in your editor, your video or audio editor, and it's still absolutely fine. So now what I'll do is I'll turn the gain up to maximum on this so the levels are clipping red, and record the same thing again, but then when I drop the audio files into Final Cut Pro, you'll hear how they sound absolutely fine. So there you go. That's amazing, right? I absolutely love that feature. That's the main reason I love this. But it turns out this has other cool features as well. So the other things I like about this, first of all, you can buy, and it is optional, but you can buy a Bluetooth transmitter. This is for your phone. So you download the app to your phone, connect the two together, and then your phone will display exactly what's on the screen here and works as a remote control. So again, this can be near a guitar on the other side of the room, but you can control the levels and see the levels from your phone's screen. That's really useful. You also get stereo mics, which sound great. You can flip these around as well if you want to, so they face the other way. But these are great on acoustic guitars and things like that. And then we've got 4 inputs, and it actually records all of those to separate tracks and the mics as well. So when you put the SD card or connect this to your computer to check out the files, you get all of the input recordings on separate tracks and also a mix of everything as well, which I tend to use. But I'm sure one day I'll plug in, say, 4 mics to this for people to talk into and record a guitar with the mics, and then I have everything on isolated tracks to edit after the fact. And then that also means this is basically a multi-track recorder, also an interface when you plug it into your computer. It kind of reminds me of the old Tascam I had when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. You know what I miss about that thing? I miss the simplicity. I would just plug into it and write songs all day long, and I just move on to the next song because it was so simple to use. And this reminds me of that, but in a digital format. Having said that, you can also go in here and add effects and do different things like that, which I haven't really got into yet, but it's great that they're in here. There's also a tuner in here, which of course is the advantage of digital. You can have those extra bells and whistles as well. But the key feature for me is the excellent sounding mics, which I've compared to high-end mics, and I think this rivals, and the multiple inputs, the simplicity of removing the files, and the fact that then they are recorded in that 32-bit float mode. They're the key features that have just been a game changer for what I do with my videos and my recording. I now use this on acoustic guitar demos. I've used it for interviews. I've used it on electric guitars. I've used it for everything. In fact, all my videos since I got this have basically used this for the instrument recordings rather than my super high-end microphones, because it's so much easier to use, and also I think it sounds just as good, if not better, than some of those microphones, believe it or not. What I've done now is I've connected the Bluetooth to my iPhone. I definitely think it's worth getting the Bluetooth adapter. And now you can see what's going on from the phone screen, which makes it very easy to make a video like this. So basically, if I go home here, this is the launcher. This is where you select what you're doing. So you've got an ASMR mode, which I haven't used yet. But you've got all different ways of recording, instruments, manual mode. So I tend to always just go straight into manual mode, so I have the most control over what I'm doing. I'll then click on input, and you see here your 6 inputs, which are the 4 combo jack inputs and the 2 mics on the top of the device. Right now, I'm just using the 2 built-in mics. You can see it's picking up the level right there. So if I get it closer, you can see there, that would normally be clipping. Doesn't really matter. I do bring it down when I record to a regular level, but it doesn't really matter, like I said earlier, because of the float recording. But you do that here. Each mic can be adjusted here, and then sometimes you want one mic louder than the other. So you just do that right like that. You can turn the mics off if you don't want them recorded into the recording. And then you go home, and this is where I make my recording. I press the red record button. The actual unit then lights up with a red dot, which is super useful to make sure you are recording, because that's obviously very important. And then when I'm done, I click back to the launcher again, and I click on this icon at the bottom there. You see the picture of the SD card right at the bottom? That then puts this into a reader mode. I plug in a USB-C cable to it, and I can transfer the files straight into Final Cut Pro. It's that simple. That's how I basically use this thing. As I said, there's also a metronome, a tuner. This is amazing. If you're in a guitar store, you can tune the guitar and practice what tempo you're going to play at, and then record it straight in. I really think that's so useful. I haven't used it yet, but it's so useful. And then you can add reverb. You can add basic effects if you're doing a songwriting demo or a performance. I tend to just want the raw files recorded nice and cleanly, and then I'll edit them after the fact. But it's great they've added these extra features as well. Talking about USB-C, when you do connect it to your computer, it's then powered by USB-C, and it also takes 4 AA batteries. I find the battery life is very impressive. Obviously, it doesn't last forever, but it's very impressive. You could use rechargeable, I guess. I just use regular AA's. They last me quite a long time. And then when I do plug it in here to make recordings in this room, I'll use the USB-C cable to my computer, and that will provide the power to it. So, like I said, quick video today, and there's many more features to this that I could talk about in a future video, but I just want to tell people about this. If you're a musician or if you make YouTube videos, this thing, in my opinion, is invaluable. To always capture those recordings when you're out and about or at home in the studio, and to always have them usable and never clipped, and of a very high quality with those built-in mics. One thing to know, I've used it outside and I did get wind noise. It worked okay. But I've since bought the windscreen protector. That's an optional accessory you can get as well to put on top when I'm outside. I also bought a case for it to protect it. But honestly, this thing isn't the most affordable thing to buy, but when you do music YouTube and the audio is so important to you, I think it's great. Sometimes it's on sale as well. Remember, you do have to get yourself a memory card. You do need the batteries. You do need maybe the windscreen cover. You do need the Bluetooth adapter if you want the remote control. That adds to the price, but even then, if anything happened to this, I would buy another one in an instant, because I literally use it all the time. With one of the latest iPhones with the decent cameras on them, and this, you could have a whole YouTube channel. You wouldn't need anything else. Of course, it's nice to have other stuff too, but the audio in music videos is so important, and that gives me that with the convenience and simplicity that I've been searching for a long, long time. I'll link all the products below. They are affiliate links. This isn't a sponsored video. I really think this thing has changed how I make videos and how I record guitars, especially acoustic guitars. And I want to tell you all about it. So if you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. I'd really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.